Joining us now, Marc. He's the Strategic Communications Director of Trump Pence 2020, live in Miami. Hey, Marc, great to have you, man.
Good to be back, John.
So, Marc, I couldn't believe last night. You got Kamala Harris up there lying about all these people working two jobs, not true. And then you got basically the Communist Party manifesto playing itself out last night.
It was really unbelievable. The first words out of Kamala Harris's mouth on the first question were lies about, people not benefiting from the president's tax cuts. It's 82% of middle-class Americans saw their taxes cut, an average of $1,260. 90% of Americans saw more take-home pay because of the president's tax cuts, and the lies just didn't end. It was, as we said, and I believe it too. It was a 2-hour infomercial for President Trump's reelection, and the American people who watched and tuned in, the nonpartisans, the non-radicals, had to just sit there and shake their head when they saw all of these plans, from free health care to immigrants to decriminalizing illegal border crossings. It was just one hit after another that is just driving people away from what used to be the Democrat Party.
Marc, what the Democrat Party now wants after these 2 days is they don't want a country. That was obvious last night. I thought Wednesday was bad. Thursday was like I was in a surreal another universe when I was sitting there watching this. It was unbelievable because basically if you have no criminalization for illegally crossing the border into the United States, you have no border, Marc. You have no country. You're basically, just a landmass of taxes and a socialistic state. You have no country. It was amazing. I tell you what, one of the best lines last night was, Bernie Sanders, who was lauding Canada's universal single-payer healthcare system. And Mark Bennett, bless his heart, from Colorado, he actually did make some sense last evening. So Bennett says, Bernie, in all due respect, Canada has 35 million people. We have 350 million. It's like even when the Democrats bring out the stuff, he got booed off the stage. Unbelievable.
Well, and the thing about that is there was just a study done here recently that despite the fact that Canada only has 35 million people, if you go to Canada, the average wait is 9 weeks, over 2 months to see a specialist, and then it takes another 11 months on top of that to actually get treatment. People are waiting more than a month for life-saving cancer treatment, and the wait times are even worse in Great Britain. It doesn't work. And, to the point of they love to talk about Canada's healthcare policies, but God forbid you actually talk about Canada's immigration policies, which require people to be admitted based on their skills. You can't talk about that because that's racist. So they just want to pick and choose. And, the American people see right through this. And I just have to believe that, as we continue to go on and on, the more they talk about their policies, the more President Trump wins.
It is amazing because nothing they said last night made any sense for middle America. And you got one guy, Eric Swalwell, at least, and I'll commend his honesty. And I actually thought Swalwell had a couple of opportunities last night to distinguish himself, being an obscure congressman from California, but at least he was honest in saying, yes, I am going to confiscate your guns. I will have federal officials knock on your door, and if you don't voluntarily give up your assault weapons, and we'll give you a check in 6 months, we're going to come in the door, we're going to search your house, go to your attic, go to your basement, undo floorboards, and we're going to find them and take them out. At least he's honest. Honesty is the best policy. They want to confiscate your guns now.
Yeah, you couldn't have. These ads. When people actually hear what they were talking about, if they take the time to think this through, it is just absolutely clear they have gone so far to the radical left that so many Democrats are sitting there telling us they don't even recognize the Democrat Party anymore. It doesn't represent them. You had labor union leaders, as much as they talked about their vaunted Green New Deal, you had labor union leaders in the People's Republic of California saying to the Democrat Party, we're getting hate mail from our members because you are no longer looking out for our best interests. When the American people break free from what they have been told for so long and how they're expected to vote based on where they work or the color of their skin, they're realizing they're benefiting under the leadership of this president. And I don't think that the Democrats can count on any of these voting blocks to be automatically theirs just because their party has gone so far off the deep end that people are going to go, you know what? I want to keep the paycheck increases going for me. I want my taxes to stay low because many of those candidates are saying, I'm raising your taxes on day one. They admit it. They openly admit it just for the free giveaway programs. And that's not what I want.
What about this guy, Eric Yang? Who's this guy that's on there without a tie last night? And he says he wants to give everybody $1,000 a month over 18, but then he's going to tax you back $2,000 a month in value-added taxes. I mean, what planet did these guys live on, Mark?
You know, you have to wonder. I mean, it's always been known that Democrats have campaigned on just giving things to people, but now they're just openly saying, "I will buy your vote," and they won't tell you that it will cost you more in the end. They're openly saying, "You vote for me, I'll give you $1,000 a month." I mean, it's just clear vote buying, and when the economics just don't add up, it's remarkable to think that guy actually became a tech giant, with those kinds of business skills.
That's right. Maybe, Mark, maybe you and I are in the wrong business, right? Did you ever think about that? Maybe if we took our skills and went to Silicon Valley, we too could be millionaires by doing and saying stupid things like that guy Wang last night. And then who was the other one at the end of the stage? Was that the spiritualist or the fortune teller? What was that?
Oh,
Mary
yes,
Williamson?
a spiritual advisor and author, yes.
A spiritual advisor. Okay, well, maybe that's not a bad thing to have in the, I guess, White House. You get spiritual advisors. Is that like maybe she could do a Dear Abby column while she's in there as well? I mean, it was really embarrassing, I thought. Wednesday night was pretty ridiculous. Thursday night was theater of the absurd. It was like I was walking in the wax museum. Here's the other thing. I really thought I could see Biden losing last night, right? I mean, I could see him losing the nomination, and I know you don't want to get into Democrat nominee because of what your position is. But as I was watching this debate, I didn't think it was knocked out by any means. But I really could sit there saying to myself, I can see one of these people beating him because he looked old. He's going to play defense between now and whenever the Iowa caucuses are and beyond that because of, some of the things he said. And, here's the other thing, Mark. He's ran 3 campaigns, all 3 of them a complete and utter debacle. And he got bailed out 2 times by Obama. He didn't win either of those on his own. I thought he was really vulnerable last night. What say you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing absolutely clear, that the Democrat field has been reshuffled or will be in the process of being reshuffled from these 2 nights of debates. And, we've long expected, and a lot of pollsters have actually saw it starting to change, that many people think that somebody like an Elizabeth Warren, or a Kamala Harris, could actually be leading that field by fall because, the other candidates are just not catching fire. They're not doing the things that need to be done. We'll see that play out, in the end here as we move toward this. But to your broader point, when you look at that, when you look at the fact that all of them immediately raised their hands when they said, yes, I will tax the American people to provide free health care for illegal immigrants and open borders, it's impossible to see any of them beating President Donald Trump.
No, I really don't. And what about Kamala Harris's fake news that everybody is working 2 jobs to put food on the table? When we did the fact check on that, we found the exact opposite is happening, that less people are working 2 jobs than they were in the last 2 decades in order for their primary wages. Some people decide to work 2 jobs in order to make extra money to go on vacation or buy things that they'd like to have. We do that fact check. We find that out. But none of the legacy lying media said anything about it. She
well, and I did see
lied.
to your point, none of it last night. Nobody pushed back on him. This morning, the Washington Post fact checked it and called it false. So when you don't have the Washington Post and you're a Democrat, you're in trouble.
That has got to be the line of the day when you lose the Washington Post. Marc Lotter, I really want to thank you for being with us. I know you've been busy down there in Miami. You're doing a great job. Marc Lotter, the Strategic Communications Director for Trump-Pence 2020. Mark, I'm going to give you the final word as you go back to Washington today. As you're getting on the plane, what are you thinking?
Well, beside the fact of, looking forward to the 4th of July, as many people will be, and spending some time back at home, I'm looking to this campaign, again, as each of these 20-plus candidates works through this primary and people rightfully talk about their process and who's leading, who's up, who's down, we forget one thing, that whichever one of them emerges, not only are they going to be broke, they're going to be broken. Guess who's waiting for you? President Donald Trump, and he's neither broke nor broken, and he's raring to go.
All right, Marc Lauder, Strategic Communications Director, Trump Pence 2020. Let's stay in touch. Have you on, Marc, on a regular basis as things heat up. Thanks for joining us today. I know you're busy.
Look forward to
I really
it. Thanks,
appreciate
John.
the time, buddy.